If you want to go from broke to millions in GTA Online solo, this video breaks it all down step by step. I will show you exactly what to do, what to buy, starting from essentially nothing, and eventually making your way through all of the different businesses, really contributing to making millions of dollars. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and let's dive into it. So to really start building cash really quickly, we need to start off with the Clucking Bell raid. There is a bunch of reasons to start with this. The first one is, of course, it can be done completely solo, and by far the best reason is because it does not cost you guys any money to start, and there is no requirements to begin. You can pretty much start this at rank 1. Playing through the raid is really simple as well. You will just have to complete some setup missions first, eventually getting on to the finale. And once completed, you will get $500,000, unless it is your first time playing, where instead you would get $750,000 in total. After completing one Clucking Bell farm raid, you do have some other options that can really help you stack some more money. Depending how you are feeling, if you do want to play the Clucking Bell farm raid again, you will have a 1-hour cooldown on your current character. However, you can switch to your second character, play through the raid all again, and make another $500,000, in turn repeating the whole process, switching characters every time you complete it. And for those of you guys who don't know, the bank accounts in GTA Online are shared between your characters, so as long as you deposit the money after completion, you can access all of this money on your main character. At some point, you might get bored of doing this back-to-back method, so another really nice thing you could also complete will be the new safeguard deliveries. The payout for these things is relatively not too bad, between $17,000 and up to just under $20,000. You can begin playing these things by going to this location in the center of the city or down by the docks for the Bobcat security delivery. The best comparison that I can give for safeguard deliveries will be that they are very similar to the VIP work, for example Headhunter. However, there is one main distinction, and it will be that the safeguard deliveries will not have any cooldown. So in my opinion, I do think they are technically better. You will not have to wait around for starting another. And this is also a really nice thing to do to completely refresh the delivery location. You can just cancel a job whenever you want, start another safeguard delivery, and you might get a better payout and a closer delivery drop-off. This will be a really nice way to start the game off. Just run the Clucking Bell farm raid back to back or do the safeguard deliveries in between, and you will stack a really nice portion of money for the next step. At this point, you should have a few $1,000,000 if you have been playing the Clucking Bell farm raid, and this is the point where I would recommend investing in the Acid Lab. Honestly, I think the Acid Lab is by far one of the best things to get. The return of investment that you eventually get from the Acid Lab is genuinely so nice. So first of all, you need to focus on getting the Brickhead 6x6, and there's two different ways you can get this. The first way to get the Acid Lab is to purchase it from the Warstock website, costing you $750,000. And the second way is to complete the first dose missions inside the Freak Shop. I'm not even going to lie to you guys, there is a lot of weird things with the Acid Lab. In terms of its equipment, supposedly if you buy it from the Warstock website, you still need to install the equipment inside the Acid Lab, which will cost you $750,000. And I have heard somewhere that supposedly you still need to complete the first dose missions to even have the option to put the equipment in the Brickhead 6x6. So if you want my honest opinion, I would definitely recommend playing the first dose missions, getting the Brickhead 6x6 vehicle for free, and then spending the $750,000 to put the equipment inside. At this point, we have to do one more thing with the Acid Lab, and that is purchasing the equipment upgrade. This is by far one of the most time-consuming things, because you will need to complete 10 Dax Fooligan jobs. But let me just say to you, this is completely worth your time. The amount of money you make from the Acid Lab with the equipment upgrade is one of the best time investments. So to go ahead and start a Fooligan job, just head to Dax inside the Freak Shop, or instead just call Dax on your phone. The main reason this will take you guys such a long time is because these Dax Fooligan jobs will have a cooldown period of about 40 minutes. When you do get around to completing 10 of these things, you can go back inside the Freak Shop, speak to Mutt, select the Acid Lab upgrades and the equipment upgrade. It will cost you $250,000, but once installed, you really don't have to worry about anything else. However, there is one more really nice trick to boost the Acid Lab's income, and that is to open your interaction menu, go down to Service Vehicles, and change your product name once. This will give you a permanent boost of the value of your Acid Lab stock, and it only costs you $5,000. At this point, you have really set up with the Acid Lab. You can just buy supplies for $60,000, boost the product by going over to this table for a short period of time, and now go back to things like the Clucking Bell raid and safeguard deliveries while your Acid Lab cooks in the background. At this point, we have really laid the foundation of making a ton of money. So after you guys have been using the Clucking Bell Farm raid and the Acid Lab together, you will eventually get some more money for a few more businesses in this category. The first one that I would potentially recommend would be the Mackenzie Field Hangar. This did recently get nerfed by Rockstar. It is not as good as it used to be, and it will take you guys a little bit longer to complete, but the payout for this, if you do it correctly and do all of the bonus things inside the finale, will net you upwards of $810,000. So I think it really comes down to what you guys want. If you want a little bit more payout for a little bit more time, investing in the Mackenzie Field Hangar will be a nice choice. In this same section, I would also include the standard hangar business and the bunker. What we are essentially doing right now is trying to get some businesses that can run in the background and also have some nice options for some active money. If you guys manage to pick up the bunker with the Acid Lab, this will definitely be one of the strongest foundations you can get. The standard hangar business as well is super nice, a really nice change of pace compared to the Clucking Bell Farm raid or using the Mackenzie Field Hangar. Another solid business for the second spot will be the garment factory. It is not too pricey and you can complete the standard FIB files. Keep alternating them, the setup will not take you long whatsoever, and it will make you some really nice money. And the final business I want to include in this section will be the auto shop for the robbery contract. This one is super affordable. You will not have to purchase any upgrades for the auto shop. You can just buy the stock one and dive straight into the robbery contract. This is also a really nice change of pace, and it is one of my personal recommendations. Moving on to step 3, we do have the agency, another really nice investment. At this point in the game, you should have pretty much your choice of which agency you want, with all of the money that you have been making from the second step. Reasons to get the agency are pretty straightforward, the first one being the Dr. Dre contract, another really nice solo method which will get you $1 million once completed. The agency also offers some really nice side money from security contracts or payphone hits, and it will also have a passive income safe, and you can increase this safe by completing security contracts. So with the agency included in your money loop, you now have the Acid Lab and the bunker fully upgraded running in the background. You can now run the agency, Dr. Dre contract. Once completed, switch over to the Clucking Bell raid or any of the other methods in step 2. Using these things already will make you guys a ton of cash, but we can increase this even more, and this next step in my opinion is probably one of the most important ones. This will be a really nice thing to do to maintain your wealth. So for step 4, we do have the MC businesses. For the most part in GTA Online, the MC businesses do get a really bad rep, and I do have to agree with a lot of people on that. The delivery missions themselves are really tedious, however they are still worthwhile, especially for the end game businesses, which we will get onto a little bit later on. So to even get started with an MC business, you will need to buy the clubhouse first. Clubhouses are one of the cheapest businesses across the entire game, and you could technically get this by completing one Clucking Bell raid. With this clubhouse, once you head inside, you want to go over to the computer, and this is where you guys purchase your MC businesses. It's completely your choice which ones you guys want. The more expensive ones are located in the city, so if you want to save some money, I would probably recommend buying them in Blaine County, and this is where I currently have all of my MC businesses. The main ones to get will be the weed farm, the counterfeit cash factory, the coke lockup, and the meth lab. If I were you guys, I would not even bother with the document forgery. It still might be worth getting at some point, because it might get a double money bonus in one of the events, but yeah, for the most part, I would not even bother with that business. Now with these MC businesses that you do have, you want to go over to each one of them and upgrade them with the equipment upgrade and the staff upgrade. You can also get the security upgrade to sort of prevent raids from happening. In my experience, these raids will happen no matter what at some point, so I do think this is a little bit of a waste of money, but it might just prolong the raid and save you some time. If you guys are quick enough, you can just leave your MC club after resupplying a business or really anything, and that is probably the best way to prevent these raids from happening. Sometimes they are not preventable at all, no matter how fast you leave your MC club. With these MC businesses all set up with their upgrades, and with them all resupplied, you can now really go back to the other active methods, and also make sure to switch these things up, because you will get extremely bored if you keep replaying the Clucking Bell raid or the agency Dr. Dre contract. I would definitely try and mix in the auto shop robberies, and if you purchase the Mackenzie Field Hangar, this will be a nice option as well. And at long last guys, we are on to the 5th step, and this will be the end game businesses. The reason I like to call these things end game businesses really comes down to the fact that for the most part they rely on the other things that we have already covered. The first one obviously will be the nightclub. For the nightclub to be as impactful as possible. It will rely on things like the MC businesses. You will also need to buy these warehouse technicians and assign them to each business you have. If you have never used the nightclub before, you might be a little bit thrown off by what these businesses are called. So to quickly run through them, the cargo and shipments will be the special cargo. I also believe this can be the standard hangar business as well. So if you did pick up the hangar business previously, or even just one special cargo warehouse, which we have not mentioned, and it will probably be a nice investment for this. If you have either one of them two things, you should be able to assign one of the technicians after purchasing them to source these goods. The sporting goods will be the bunker, so obviously if you have a bunker, you can just throw a technician on this. South American imports will be the coke lockup, pharmaceutical research is the meth lab, organic produce is the weed farm, printing and copying is the document forgery, which you will probably not even need. It might be worth investing if you want to completely max the nightclub out, but for the most part, a waste of time and money. And of course, cash creation is the counterfeit cash factory. And because we have already previously covered all of these businesses, hopefully you already have all of them and can finish setting up the nightclub so that you are always making money. It is also worth mentioning that you will have to make sure that these separate MC businesses are fully set up and you have done the setup mission to start production at each business. One of the best elements of the nightclub will be its passive safe. As long as you keep the popularity of the nightclub increased, you will be making $50,000 every 48 minutes, so a really nice boost on top. In terms of the nightclub stock itself, it's not really an instant moneymaker. However, it will be making you guys a ton of cash over the long run, especially when you are doing other things in GTA Online. Just leave it with the warehouse technicians, and every now and again come back here and change them around if you need to. Another really nice endgame business, which is the newest one, is the car wash, and the other two businesses that you can get after purchasing this. The reason I think this is an endgame business is because buying the car wash itself will impact your counterfeit cash factory, the Higgins Heli Tours will impact the standard hangar business, and the smoke on water shop will impact the weed farm, slightly boosting how much you can make from each of them things. For reference, if you have the smoke on water shop, you will get a 35% boost on the weed farm, which makes the weed farm a really nice MC business. Without having the smoke on water shop, the weed farm is nowhere near as good. The car wash will increase the counterfeit cash factory also by 35%, another really welcomed boost. And the last one, the Higgins Heli Tours, will only give a 10% boost to the hangar business. However, you will have the potential to make a lot more money. And the hangar business also has its separate boosts as well. Another reason I do think this car wash business is endgame really comes down to its passive safe. To take advantage of this passive safe and get the most from it, you pretty much need all of the businesses we have already gone through. You will see the only one that I am really missing is the document forgery, and yet with this safe you will be making around $30,000 every 48 minutes, as long as you do not have maximum heat inside the car wash. Some other things that can also affect this safe will be the other two businesses, because they also have a heat bar and will shut down if that bar becomes full. So something to keep an eye on if you have this. It is definitely worth staying on top of it so that you can maximize your cash. Another business in this category will be the salvage yard. In terms of making money directly from this, you can of course complete the salvage yard robberies every single event, making you around $1 million. A nice weekly thing to do, especially if you guys don't play GTA Online too often. The salvage yard tow truck as well is a really nice investment. As long as you guys keep salvaging some cars every now and again, the safe inside your salvage yard will be making you a ton of cash. And I think this last one will be kind of obvious, but the KO Preco heist, or the Kasatka, is by far one of the best things that you guys can get, especially for solo money. I really don't think that you guys can mention all of these other things and not include the KO Preco heist. It is so nice to do every now and again, especially when you are stuck with some other cooldowns. Always really refreshing, and it will keep you guys from getting bored if you switch between the money methods. So yeah, at this point we have gone through all of these different steps, and with some luck, if you guys go through these steps, even as a relatively newer player with barely anything, you should be able to make millions of dollars pretty quickly. And I always try and enforce this, but if you do pair these money methods together, you will have the most success. I definitely missed a few things out that you could also do. For example, the bail office is surprisingly not too bad if you only focus on the daily most wanted target. Every day getting you just over $100,000, not too bad, but the bail office price is kind of absurd for what you get. For the most part, these are the things that you probably want to try and do. I would also recommend and encourage you guys to mix these things up. For example, you could technically do the Clocking Bell raid and just skip straight to some of the MC businesses or the agency. You technically don't have to go through the acid lab and all these other steps, and doing this could potentially save you a lot of time instead of going through through all of the different other businesses like the Acid Lab with all of that annoying setup, even the Mackenzie Field hangar with the Oscar Guzman flies again missions. But anyways guys, that will wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you think. Hopefully it does help you in some way, shape or form. If it does, make sure to leave a like on this video. I always do appreciate your support. And if you are new to the channel and like what you see, subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss a video. Finally guys, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.